Okay, instead of doing a blog, I decided to do a video, only because a couple of things happened to me recently that made me realize, for those of you that are my friends or my clients or, my loved ones in general, who have not worked in hospice and really don't understand, it would be, I think, a good thing to kind of create this video so that you have a little bit of an idea. But my mom's at the stage where she is getting very agitated more often than usual. Agitation in for the most part means also angry. They can get a little bit belligerent. She, for example, wanted to take off her clothes, or she doesn't want to stay in the bed and she tries to climb out even with the rails. So it can be nerve-wracking, and if you don't know what you're doing, then it can really be an emotional thing. I mean, it's very difficult to watch a loved one, somebody that raised you or somebody that you're married to or somebody, get to that kind of a stage. I'm not saying it happens to everyone in death and dying, but it can, and it's happening to my mom. So a couple days ago, she was not like that. We had other issues. I also want to really say that hospice here in Southern California is just been the specific accent care has been phenomenal. The nurses are phenomenal. I even had one nurse on her day off call me. I had somebody else who was bathing her call me on their day off. I mean, like, seriously, they are so helpful. So when you're caring for somebody, people might have this generalized stereotype or thinking that what you're doing is the person who is dying is sitting on the sofa or in bed and you're just kind of waiting for them to die, or that you administer some medication and you might change their Depends or something like that, or give them water, and that's really it, and for the rest you're just kind of like watching TV on the couch and all that. Well, that's far from the truth. Let me give you an idea. I haven't slept even 6 hours in a row. Have no idea what it's like, and this has been going on for definitely over 3 weeks since I've been here, or about 3 weeks. And then previous to that, when she went into the emergency, I wasn't sleeping clearly because I'm her POA and the doctors are calling me, at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know what it's like to get complete sleep. Luckily, I've got some tools in my toolbox that I can use to calm myself down. And I also have some colleagues who've been helping me with, half an hour here, doing some tapping, breathing exercises, things like that I can do to help myself get grounded under these circumstances. This situation is not for the faint of heart. It just really isn't. To watch someone go through all of this is very difficult. For those of you who may think that, the person who is dying is just lying there peacefully, wanting a couple of things to eat, or perhaps they're sleeping all the time, although that can be true and it does happen, there's a stage in death and dying that is this one here. So while I was having my mother completely agitated and having to administer even more medication to kind of placate or sedate her a little bit is important, because in hospice, believe it or not, psychological torment or anything, that's considered pain. Pain isn't just in the physical body. She doesn't have a lot of physical pain. It's mostly psychological. It's agitation. They're itching a lot. Like my mom's skin itches quite a bit. I'm getting up literally every 3 hours through a 24-hour clock. I'm administering medication. As you can see, this is not an easy thing. You're not getting sleep. Everything else around you is unimportant, quite frankly. I mean, I'm not getting as much food in my system. I'm trying to stay hydrated. It really takes a community. When they say it takes a village to raise a child, well, it takes a village in death and dying. And my aunt is where we're staying right now. We're really lucky that my mom has neighbors, or my aunt has neighbors that are helping us out, that are bringing in, a meal so that we don't have to worry about cooking necessarily, or making sure that we are hydrated. I've made, good acquaintances with the nurses. They're, sending those text messages to make sure that we are okay. Nobody is asking for anything. During a time like this, everybody else's needs, quite frankly, are unimportant. It's difficult to understand that if you have not worked in hospice, but it's actually very true. the person who's caregiving is actually suffering, sometimes even more than the person that is dying. The last thing I want to say is that as much as we accept death in their life, or in their healthier life, accepted death as part of a process, because we all say that, well, I accept death, I'm comfortable with death. When it's actually happening to the physical body has a natural biological reaction to survive, and that creates agitation, that creates anxiety, and that's the part that some of you who have not worked in this area don't understand, and it's very distressing for I appreciate all the support that all of you are giving, and like I said, I wanted to share with you the darker side, or the shadow side, or however you want to call it, of hospice that people do not talk about very often. Part of you that has to keep that detached empathy, but at the same time try to keep that pragmatic, logical mind in check, and having the support from people that love you, your friends, people that can just say, hey, are you okay? What can I do for you? Is really huge. And it means a lot more than when you're just kind of stressing out over a work project that you got to get through. You know, under these circumstances, when you're a caregiver in hospice, the support, moral support that you can get is huge. So again, love you guys who are really helping me through all of this, and a shout out to hospice.